Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Metal Properties.
The FBI says it does not believe anyone else was involved in the deadly New Orleans attack other than the suspect Shamsuddin Jabbar. The 42-year-old had worked in various roles in the US Army, including in human resources and IT, before he was discharged. He was deployed to Afghanistan from February 2009 to January 2010. Here, CCTV footage showing the moment his truck swerves into the crowd in the attack. A flag associated with the Islamic State group was found inside the vehicle. Jabbar was also armed and fired on law enforcement, injuring 2 officers before he was killed by police.
Investigators believe Jabbar picked up the rented F-150 in Houston, Texas on December 30th. He then drove from Houston to New Orleans on the evening of the 31st, and he posted several videos to an online platform proclaiming his support for ISIS. There were 5 videos posted on Jabbar's Facebook account, which are time-stamped beginning at 1:29 a.m. and the last at 3:02 a.m. In the first video, Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the disbelievers.
Details are emerging about the 15 people who lost their lives in the attack. Martin Tiger Beck, who was in his late 20s, was a former football player at Princeton University. Nikira Cheyenne Deju was an 18-year-old aspiring nurse. Her death was confirmed by her mother on social media. Reggie Hunter was a store manager and a father of 2. And 27-year-old mother Nicole Perez was described as a dedicated, smart, and good-hearted person.
There's a Cybertruck.
Surveillance footage has shown the moment that a Cybertruck exploded outside the Trump Las Vegas hotel. Police in the US are investigating whether the explosion is linked to the deadly car ramming attack in New Orleans. The driver of the Tesla Cybertruck was killed and 7 other people were injured in Las Vegas after the vehicle, filled with canisters and firework mortars, exploded. Officials said all injuries were minor. A gunman has killed 12 people, including 2 children, in a series of shootings in southern Montenegro. Authorities said the man, later identified as Ako Martinovic, had been drinking heavily when he got into an altercation with another guest at a restaurant. After the argument, Martinovic went home to retrieve a weapon, then returned to the restaurant and began his rampage, killing several customers. He then drove to 5 other locations and shot several more people, including members of his immediate and extended family. The Palestinian Authority says it has suspended broadcasting by the prominent Arab channel Al Jazeera in parts of the occupied West Bank, citing incitement and bias. Qatari-owned Al Jazeera expressed shock and denounced the decision as an attempt to hide the truth about events in the occupied territories. It links the closure to news coverage of the recent major crackdown by Palestinian security forces on armed Islamist groups in Jenin refugee camp, where at least 11 people have been killed. An 8-year-old boy has been found alive after surviving 5 days in a game park inhabited by lions and elephants in northern Zimbabwe. Tinotendu Padu wandered 23 kilometers from his home into the perilous Matuzadona game park. A local MP said the boy used his knowledge of the wild and survival skills to stay alive. And researchers have uncovered hundreds of dinosaur footprints dating back to the Middle Jurassic era in a quarry in Oxfordshire in southern England. It proves that reptiles such as the 9-meter predator Megalosaurus moved along enormous tracks. The dig at Dewar's Farm Quarry found 5 extensive trackways, one of which measured more than 150 meters in length. 4 of the tracks were made by gigantic long-necked herbivorous dinosaurs called sauropods. The 5th trackway was made by the carnivorous theropod dinosaur, which had distinctive 3-toed feet with claws.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.